All right, Tyson. So this is a viewer request from someone I just know that watches this, and it's going to be very, very controversial.
Oh,
Who's the better
controversial
driver?
stuff. I love controversial
Yeah,
stuff. Try to steer away from it, to be honest, but part of me likes it.
yeah. So here's the question they want us to talk about. Who's the better driver, men or women?
Oh, wow. That's
um,
controversial.
well, it could be. So I have this. I don't know. I just gonna tell you this. I think women cause all accidents, indirectly or directly. And here's my thought process. Okay, I had I had a really good friend. You remember Lauren?
I know Lauren, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Lauren.
and
Shout out to Lauren if you listen to this.
yeah. And anyway, so every time we were like somewhere, and something happened, to the accident or whatever, he'd always look and go, "I bet you it's a woman. I bet you." And more than often, it was a woman, which was kind of funny. So, but now for men to get into accidents, I still blame women. Okay, we're just trying. We're just
Okay. I'm curious to hear how you rationale this because and all you women here, I'll put a Nick's address up for the hate mail here in a minute.
Okay, so you're just driving along, whatever, and there's this beautiful woman just jogging along, flopping around and everything, and you're gonna look, and all of a sudden, bam! You see, her fault. She should have been looking so good while she on the sidewalk.
Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah, Nick. Okay.
no, but it was funny because even my girl, she was driving, and there was a guy, he was running with his shirt off, and she just had to take a double look, and I kind of slapped her, I'm like, watch the road. But no, just all joking aside though, uh, I think men are maybe a little more observant, and they don't get as distracted as some of the women do, because a lot of women, and I'm just generalizing. I'm not saying this
Sure,
is everybody,
sure.
but women are really on their phones. I've seen them do makeup while they're driving, and all that type of other things. I don't see men really. I've seen a guy shaving with an electric shaver, but I see more men a little more focused and concentrated on the road than women. So I don't know. I was just being facetious, just a little bit ago.
Let's say
But
you're getting a lot of people like looking at you a little weird here, Nick. I admit.
yeah, yeah, I know, I
We'll go
know.
ahead. I'll touch on this a little bit. And I'm gonna play the devil's advocate to you. And I do. I'm not trying to be the good guy here, but hey, women, I'm gonna be the good guy. Insurance for men, higher or lower than
I knew
women?
you was gonna bring this up. I knew you was gonna bring that up.
What's the answer, Nick? What's the answer? Is it
Oh, their
insurance
rates are
higher for
lower.
men or women? What?
Yeah, yeah, their rates are lower.
Okay.
They're
Why do you
so-called
think that
stats.
is?
It's
Why
because
would their
they're the
rates?
ones distracting us.
Because they're distracting us. All right. Why can't men? I mean, you were 40. I like to think that I've learned the subtle art of a quick glance, and that's it. As quick as I can look at my speedometer, my rear view mirror,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Are we saying that us men? And technically, I'm going to make the counter argument. Okay, let's say there's a beautiful woman walking down the road, and we want to look, and women are tempted to look at beautiful whatever men or women, whatever they want to look at as well. Maybe because our rates are higher, and we're going to blame them, but maybe they're better at capturing that all in quickly while us men have to sit there and like our brain shuts off. So once again, that's not the woman's fault that we're gonna say. I could literally say less evolved when it comes to ogling than a woman is. They're either quicker at it or it's easier to process. Now I'm not gonna argue. I think everybody has a problem with being on their phones. And yes, I'll admit
Yeah.
that the people I know, it seems like I do notice more women on their phones than men. That doesn't, I think, necessarily, and phones lead to accidents, But I do know that I've had a car wrecked that I owned, not by me or my wife, but by a man who was texting and driving. I do know that out of a lot of the people I know, that it's actually more men have been in car accidents than women from my personal actual experience. My son's been in more wrecks, not trying to call you out, my son, than my daughter. I've been in more wrecks than I think my wife, to be honest, even though I do feel that I am a decent driver. I think overall, I think it's a stereotype. I think it's a generalization. I think, and I'm gonna go back to it. Insurance, they don't want to pay money, right? The
Oh
insurance
yeah.
want to make money. If they're giving women lower rates, it's not because they're cutting them a break because they're women. It's because the statistics must show that they're
Yes,
more.
and
And I think yes, you might see men are more alert, like they look like they're more alert, but 100% we're more aggressive. 100% we're
yes,
more likely to try to jump
exactly.
into that gap
We're going to
or
drive
hey, I need to get
faster.
to that lane over there. That's 2 lanes over. I can fit, you know. Um,
Yep.
and I think so. There's an argument for the multitasking versus the thinking I can do something that I can't. And I saw a thing, and I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like 80% of people think they're better drivers than average, which, if you know how averages work, simply isn't true. So, I think we're following to that as well. I think, I've, like I said, maybe I'm sound like I'm playing it safe, but that is my real opinion. As much as I would love to play along, I disagree. I'll be honest. I disagree.
I know. It's just I'm just having fun with
Yeah,
this,
I
but
know. No,
because
this is gonna get
men
some
are
clicks.
more, yeah, men are more aggressive for the most part. You know, as I've gotten older, you know, as a man, um, I've become a little more cautious. You know, especially like when driving, you know, my '69 Vet. You know, because I mean, I still get up on it, but I don't get crazy like in the turns and stuff like that. And it's kind of a meme, but for some reason, and it's the younger men buying these the Mustangs, right? And they
Yeah.
think they're all that. They turn off all the nannies, and you always see out of the cars and
Hey,
coffee or
so
whatever, they peel out and crash.
I'm gonna interrupt you here a little bit, Nick, and I'm not gonna try to give you an opportunity to mansplain, but I think I know what you mean by nannies, but maybe people don't.
Okay.
Real quick, you're talking about the assists, right? The extra,
Yes.
the braking assist, the hey,
Traction
you're
control.
swerving out of your lane. I want to make sure that's clear, just in case people don't understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like,
Okay,
but basically, it's the traction control. You know,
yeah.
that's what everybody always turns off, just for they can get that little spin as they're going out. You know,
A
they're
little
get
spin
that
that
little
leads to how
fishtail.
many times they lose control.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. So, because they always, I don't know why men love to do this. They love. I don't see women doing this, but when they're coming out of a turn and they turn that traction control off and they have a lot of torque, that's when you flip it around and it just, you throw it in a ditch, or curb
Yeah,
or
that
whatever
little
you
bit of
want
a
to call it.
fishtail. It's exciting. It's an adrenaline
Yeah,
rush.
it is. It
Yeah,
is.
and I think once again, it's the aggressiveness nature or the aggressive nature of men. I have seen my wife actually likes to turn assist off and get a little bit of a squirrel, like with her old Infinity that was rear wheel drive. She liked to try to spin the back end out a little bit. So I think that that nature is there, but I think it's less for them. Less majority of them care about that than us for some reason. And what's I think it's just the adrenaline, different style of adrenaline, things that, they get excited about. I say they, I shouldn't generalize even that way. People get excited for different things. It seems the majority of men get excited. I agree with you. I used to like to do it. Hell, once in a while, I turn on the sport mode, and I can't do the squirrely bit because my car's all wheel drive, but I'll uh, I'll do some stupid shit. I did some stupid shit a couple of months back, and ended up in the ditch. So, and it
Oh,
was because I got a
yeah.
little confident. And ironically enough, I was following my wife in her car, and my car is all wheel drive. We were in the snow. Her car is not. She made the corner just fine, and I slid. And it was because I took it too fast. I was a little confident. And I mean, ultimately the car's fine. Like, we were able to pull it
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I cracked my mirror. I just had to replace it. But once again, that just goes to show, even at my age, I think I drive more conservatively now than I have ever. But yet, once in a while, you get that little boost of, "Ooh, this will be exciting, and I can do this." And nope, no, you can't.
The the o- the only thing for me now is I drive still too fast. A lot of it's just because these newer cars, you don't feel like,
Well, they're so
speed limit.
smooth.
Yeah,
They're
the
so
speed limit
smooth.
is 70, 75, and all of a sudden I'm doing 100. I'm like, oh shit, And
Yeah, that gets everybody.
so yeah, I mean, but these cars can handle that pretty well nowadays. My opinion, I think speed limits should be raised up. I kind of want like an autobahn type of situation, not unlimited speed in one end, but I think like maybe a lane 60, lane 70 miles per hour, and maybe 80 miles per hour, or something similar to that. 70, 80, 90. At
You don't
least
have 80 miles per hour there in Nevada?
no,
Utah does.
yeah, I know.
I'm not trying to. Maybe I'm bragging a little bit
No,
there.
yeah,
No,
yeah, but no, but
I
that would make more sense. And if people would follow that, instead of being slow in the fast lane, I think that would really, solve a lot of things.
I'm
But
down to speed,
just whatever.
especially on a long trip. But I have to play this still, Nick. 100%. The faster you're going and you get in a wreck, the higher chance of death. Speed kills.
Yep. Yeah, oh, yeah.
So
It's not.
you
No, it's
you up
not.
those
It's
speed
not
limits.
speed. Speed doesn't kill. It's the sudden stop that kills you.
Well, okay, let's get all technical. The sudden stop from a higher speed, though. It's the speed you're decelerating from at a
Yeah, I
quicker
know.
pace is what's going to kill you, right? But you're still at that higher pace, and yeah, I'm known to speed, and I think once again everybody falls subject to it, especially with how smooth the cars are. But here we want less car deaths, and yet I mean, I'm not saying we haven't spoken about that directly, but I mean, as a country, as a world, whatever, uh, car deaths are
Yeah,
really high.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I wish nobody would get in a car accident.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
horrible.
And that's not going to counter that. That's just going to make that fatality rate probably go up a little bit. How much? I don't know. I think anybody could make the argument though, even if it's 1%, that's 1% more it shouldn't have been. And yet I'm still going to speed. I'm still going to do 5 over. So, and we all are, let's be honest. But as much as I sit there and there's times I think, yeah, I would love to be on the Autobahn. I
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if we're ready for it
Well,
as a culture.
if we slowly adopted it, but but here's another story about men versus women. So at
Okay.
least my girl, you know, I don't know her last car before I bought her the Jag. Like she tore the bumper off, and I'm like, how'd you tear the bumper off? The front bumper. She's like, well, I parked, I went to the curb, and I went over the curb, and then when I pulled the whole bumper off. I'm like, okay, so anyway, I take it to the body shop, order a new bumper, have them put it on, okay, and about like 3 weeks later, and she
Same
was trying
thing.
to hide this. Yeah, no, she was trying to hide this from me, and I go out there, and I'm like, where's your mirror? And she's like, she was trying to hide the mirror of being taken off. And she's all, I'm like, where's your mirror? She's like, oh, I hit one of those big orange cones. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So
I
I
don't want to
ordered
laugh
her.
at her expense. It's more so it's just funny that she tried to hide it from you. And I
Yeah,
think
I know.
I do think
That's
that
what's
this is
funny
where I'm
about
going to
it.
say one thing, and this isn't a positive or a negative. And once again, there are exceptions. I think more men pay more attention to the car, like itself.
Yeah,
Like
oh
you were
yeah.
more apt to notice that
Yes.
mirror missing. Uh,
Yes.
I my ex-wife, we're still actually really good friends. But funny story is we had a new car, and about a month later, I noticed a big old ding in the door. And I got angry. I'm like, somebody doored us, whatever. And I went
Yeah,
off
yeah.
about it and super angry. And she went along with it. She's like, yeah, I don't know when that happened. That's such jerkish of them. I mean, who opens their door that hard,
Uh-uh.
etc. like that. And then about 2 years later, we're finally getting rid of the car. And she's like, well, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay. And this got me completely off guard. She's like, that ding in the door that you've been angry about for the last 2 years. I hit a pole when I opened the door. So she
See?
knew I would notice it, and she let me run with whatever I thought it was. And I'm sure I've done similar things, maybe not with the car, but other things with my current wife or ex-wife where they noticed it and I was hoping they wouldn't. It just happens to be with cars for some reason. Car culture is the majority men. There are women out there.
Oh
We're
yeah,
actually
oh
seeing them
yeah.
break into a
It's
lot more
man. It's mainly
motorsports.
man.
Like we've got some F1 drivers right now. They're in the F2, F3, but we've got some women working into that and stuff like that. So we're breaking into it, and they should be. They should be. I think it's been a man's hobby for far too long, and we see the people starting to get into it, whether it's storing or whatever. But I think that leads to why we care about it is because it's been an idea that it's a man sport, so we must care about it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all for that. Because one of the people I follow is I don't know, I'm probably gonna butcher her name because I'm really bad at pronouncing names and stuff like that. But what's her name? Amelia Hartford or Hart? Anyway, and she's very interesting to say the least. She's just kind of fun to watch. Um, but it's nice to see that women are getting into the motorsports for sure.
Yeah, and they
Uh,
still. This is going to sound slightly political. I'm not trying to be on an agenda or anything here. I do think they have a harder time still. And
oh
so these
yeah,
women,
yeah,
I want to, whether you're in motorsports of some sort or you're restoring, because I see it. I We saw it back with Danica Patrick. There was either, oh, it's because she's hot, or oh, it's because she's a
yeah,
woman and we're
yeah.
just giving her a chance. I wasn't a Danica Patrick fan, and she didn't do all that great in NASCAR. I guarantee she'd still beat 90% of the men out there. 100%,
Oh,
right?
she'd kick my ass.
Right. And these women that are restoring these cars and stuff like that, they're doing it because they've got this passion now. Maybe they got it from their father, maybe they got it from their mother, or maybe they picked it up somewhere along the way. But there's people out there. I saw something out there where it's on YouTube, and maybe it's the same person you follow, Nick, but there's comments of like, oh, she didn't really do that, she's just doing it for the show, but there's somebody behind the scenes doing the work for her or whatever like that. And just these accusations that come.
Right.
And so it's harder for them. And once again, I'm not trying to be political here or whatever, but we got to give them a chance. It's just been a man's show when it comes to cars for so long. And yes, we can love our cars. I love my cars. You, Nick, you love your cars. They can love cars too.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
we don't need to be making it harder for them to also love their hobby. They've overcoming that, at least with cars. I'm not going to talk about anything else. I've seen it firsthand where there is a prejudice when it comes to these girls only like cars for this stupid silly reason or whatever like that. And but yet I don't have to make that excuse. Why shouldn't I?
That's true. That's
So
true. That's
and
true.
this, I don't think this is where you want to go with this whole conversation, but here I took us on a left-hand turn, and that's where we're going.
That's all right.
But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah. So anyway, we went over way over. Uh, but anyway,
Oh, that's
what do you
because it was
guys
a
think?
hot topic, or
I
is the
It's a hot
controversial
topic.
makes us go
Yeah,
long.
controversial. So I know. So what do you guys think? And be friendly to each other because we were just joking
Yeah,
around. Let's
if
not
there's
get mean in the
comments in here,
comments.
no
Yeah,
hate.
yeah,
I
no
will
hate.
monitor comments and I will remove negative comments. I will say that on this
Yeah,
one right now.
yeah, because
And then
we're
girls
just
out
joking
there,
around.
if you happen to be watching this, the hate mail you can send to Nick, just send it Las Vegas, it'll get to him. He'll find it.
Yep.
But overall, if you happen to have a quick car and you want to smoke a guy off the line next time you see it, just kind of as a little bit revenge, do it, but make sure to keep the assists on. Otherwise, you might end up in the ditch as well.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. Well,
Right.
we'll see you guys next time then. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. And remember, everybody, buckle up. Go with the catchphrase, Nick. It's gonna work.
Okay.